All right, I want to talk to you real quick about sort of changing the way your customer thinks about you. And the catch is that it's not about you. It's about themselves. What I mean that is, if you've ever been in that sort of situation where you're talking to a customer, they've looked at your product, they've looked at your service, and they go, wow, this is awesome, but right now is not a good time for us. Or maybe later we'll buy. Or they're going to say, yeah, that's good, but what we have is good enough. And if you've had those things happening, then really pay attention to what we need to do, which is if we want to change the way people behave, we need to change the way that they think. And this is really fundamental in anything that we're doing. And I've mentioned before about being a change agent and being a change management expert. That's really what it's all about. In today's world, it's not about having the best product or service, and it's not about how well that's going to meet the needs of your customers, even if it makes total logical sense. What needs to happen is fundamentally, you need to get your customer to understand that where they're at right now is wrong. And in a diplomatic way, without telling them flat out you're wrong, you need to get them to come to this aha moment. And a great book I'm reading right now, as I've posted a little bit about that, is The Challenger Customer. And it's sort of a follow-up to The Challenger Sale, which is one of my favorite books. And The Challenger Customer is really just about understanding how to change the behavior and the thinking in the mind of your customer. And what we're doing is often, as people that create content, is we're talking about all these great things, these great new ideas, and we become thought leaders, and we do things where it's like, hey, have you thought of this? And people go, wow, that's really interesting, and then they go back to doing what they were doing before. If you want to fundamentally get them to start taking you seriously, you need to get them to understand that what they're doing right now may not be working for them. So we need to challenge assumptions, and we need to address the mental models that our customers are using to build their business. And so when we think about their, current reality and future reality, it's not about their current reality now with what they have and then what it looks like in this new utopia with your service. It's about understanding that the difference between their current reality and the future reality, there's a big gap. And by staying here, they're going to be losing something. They're going to be getting it wrong. They're going to be missing out on opportunities. And there's a cost of staying the same. So your goal is to get them to understand that the pain of staying the same is going to be greater than the pain of change, because nobody likes change. I don't like change. You don't like change. And that's something that your customers don't like to do. And keep in mind that often your biggest competitor is not your competitors. It's status quo. It's them doing nothing. It's them staying the same because it's too uncomfortable to do something new. So to get them to think differently about you, first and foremost, you have to get them to think differently about themselves. Hope that makes sense. You need to go into their world and understand what those mental models are, what those assumptions that they're making, and you need to systematically dismantle their beliefs. You need to get them to go, wait a minute, we haven't been looking at it that way, or that makes total sense. We are doing those things, and wait a minute, why are we doing those things? And what could we be doing differently? Before they say, how can you help us solve it? They need to believe that something is not working and that there is a pain of that thing not working. Okay. So when you're thinking about this, and we talk about storytelling and helping them understand, it's not about your story. People don't care about your story. They don't care about what you do. They don't care about how you do it. What they care about is the story of them right now and how they're going to get into this new place. If they believe right now those challenges are heavy enough, they're going to say, well, what do we need to do? And you say, well, I can help you with that. So your goal in selling, your goal in any of your content creation, this is where most marketers are getting it wrong, is in content creation, we're talking about these ideas. Hey, you could try this. You could do this. Hey, you want to get more of this? Do this. Instead, we need to be saying that, hey, if you're doing these things, that leads to this, and also this, and what happens if these things don't work? So if you understand this, then you need to talk to them about things that maybe they're not understanding about their business. And it doesn't even have to be about what you do yet. Right? So what I ask you to do these 4 things is, and I got this right out of that Challenger Customer. I love this sort of process, is you think about 1, what is your unique strength? The thing that you do uniquely better than anybody else. Number 2, how is that unique strength underappreciated by your customers. Think about that. Like the thing that you're the best at, that your customers don't fully understand that you're the best at that. Okay. Number 3, how does the customer fail to understand in their business that leads to the underappreciation of your strength? So think about that. So you've got this great strength that is being underappreciated. Why in your customer's business are they doing certain things that lead to them underappreciating that? Hope that makes sense, okay? So think about that. So in their business, they're doing all these things, but they're not realizing that what you're doing could actually help them. So they're failing to see something in their business. Now, number 4, what do we need to teach them about their business that will then lead to them understanding and then going into that place of our business that's underappreciated? So we need to teach them something about what they're currently doing that then leads them to that aha moment to say, oh, that makes sense. And that's why this is happening. So we need to do something about this, which makes sense why you need to help us. Can you help us with that? Right? So we need to understand where we're underappreciated, why we're underappreciated, what part of their business is leading to that, and how do we teach them about that thing that leads us to this thing to help them solve it. Because bottom line, we need to understand what our customers are not thinking. If you can be somebody who helps them understand what they're not thinking, then you're going to get them to act because you got them to think. I hope that helps you out. So do those things. Look at your business really, really carefully and say, where are we underappreciated? What are we doing uniquely that people just aren't seeing? And can we help them see their world differently? I hope that helps. Post your comments. Let me know how we can apply this to your business. We're going to be doing more of this kind of stuff, but really focus on understanding the process of change. And we'll talk to you soon.